What's your take on sort of the single vendor ecosystem versus the best of breed debate when it comes to detections engineering?
Yeah, I have a metaphor, an anecdote on this one that I think expresses my feeling on like the single vendor ecosystem fairly well. So a few years ago, my mother-in-law, who is Norwegian and has grown up by the sea her whole life, came to visit us in landlocked Ohio. That's going to be important later in the story. We're in landlocked Ohio. We decide to go out shopping for a day. We have a great time, and we decide we're getting hungry towards the end of shopping, so we want to go out, take her out to dinner. And she selects what is nearest by, which in the mall is I won't name it, but it's a national chain that is known for burgers.
Okay.
And so we're like, okay, yeah, we can do that. We go in there and she orders the clam chowder
Oh,
from this place. Yeah. So
fresh.
me, my wife, the waiter, everybody knows what's going to happen. And we let it play out anyway. So she gets it. She's, spits it out. She's like, this is, probably the worst clam chowder I've ever had. And I was trying to explain to her, like, well, you chose a burger joint in a mall in landlocked Ohio to try something that you probably, get at home, like the freshest you've ever
Oh,
tasted.
yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel about like the single vendor ecosystem sometimes is like, just because a vendor says like, hey, we got you covered. We do identity for you. We do email. We do all these different, we do EDR. That doesn't mean it's like going to be cream of the crop clam chowder they have like mall in Ohio clam chowder
Yeah.
of identity. That's not always the case. And to play devil's advocate, sometimes, if you're starving and you walk in and the only thing they got is burger joint clam chowder, you got to take it. Or if your CEO, CISO, CFO orders your food for you and you don't have a choice, sometimes you just got to deal with it. But in my mind, the reason that when we talk about best in breed and like making sure we do a good balance there, like the reason the people who are best of breed are best is because they usually focus on like a very specific portion of the market, and they stay competitive because that's all their research and development is focused on, is doing that thing really, really well. So there are pros and cons to both. But I think whenever you're doing that cost benefit analysis, you have to keep in mind that just because you have a avenue of all in with a vendor doesn't mean you're going to make your team's life easier by integrating with all of just their stuff.
I'm going to kick this one to Brady and just have Brady answer, and then we'll round this thing out. Does that sound good? Let's do it. If you were advising a security leader who's drowning in alerts, what would be your first recommendation to start building a more mature detections program?
I think the first thing you need to do is understand where you're at. And I think the way to do that is gathering metrics. So if you're not able to measure your current state of things, of your operations and your coverage, then you're not really going to know the improvement or which areas to attack first. So I think, assessing the current landscape, figuring out where to invest most, invest in those areas, and then measure the benefits and the performance improvement, I think is the key.
Can't argue with the numbers.